Angela here, and I want to explore with you the idea of Pratyahara. This is the fifth limb of the eight limbs of yoga as described in Ashtanga Yoga. And the reason I'm sharing this with you, why it matters to me right now, I'm actually going to share this with a lot of my clients, is that I understand when we are on a healing journey, whether it's emotional, whether it's your body, whether it's a toothache, that can be one of the most painful things. If you have a foot problem, that can be very incredibly painful because there's so many nerve endings in the extremities. And pratyahara is, in literally in Sanskrit, pratya means withdrawal, and ahara means food. And food can be nourishment of any kind. So, in all of my wellness programs, I describe our spiritual engagement, our spiritual development as nourishment, our social encounters, their nourishment, whether they actually feed you or whether they are like junk food or destructive in some way. That's just part of it. But the preceding eight limbs the preceding four limbs before the fifth of Pratyahara are the yamas, which are our relationship to the outside world, the niyamas, which is our relationship with ourself, asana practice, which is the movement of the body, and really having a practice around it. And then pranayama, which is the action of breathing and retaining our breath. Breath retention is literally what that means. So, to rise from sorting out your moral code and how you have adapt to self-love, as well as your movement and breathing. So, when we know that all of those things are in order, we can move into the experience of pratyahara, but it's not going to work if you don't have everything else sorted out. So when I'm talking with a client who is so focused on their pain, it hurts, it's not getting better, it's getting worse, it's changing, it's, always on the person's mind. I know that something is awry. Either it's around their self love, which is probably a great deal of it, or they aren't moving their body, like it's a physical mechanical issue where there's some stagnant energy, and moving the energy could relieve the pain. Even it could be pain relief. And then if they're not breathing, they are having constricted breath, they're breathing up here, it's just, they're staying up in their chest. They aren't oxygenating their blood. And that means that they have limited blood flow, there's stagnant energy. So if I hear, oh, this hurts, I can't get over this has been going on for years, I can't, and they are upright mostly and, able to do things, then the four parts I just mentioned, the eight limbs of yoga, they have to be sorted out ahead of time. So something that can be very beneficial, if you are in a caretaking situation and this is happening, is to remind our folks, our people, the people we're working with, our neighbors, our parents, our partner, our children, whoever it is that you're helping, to remind them, start with self-love, because the niyamas and yamas, that's an internal dialogue. And you can see as a caretaker, as a healer, you can see if they are generous. You can see if they are grooming themselves. You can see if they're feeding themselves, right? That's part of self-love. So that's something that you can just kind of assess visually. This requires that you have an elevated experience too, by the way. Like you're gonna have to be able to practice pratyahara. If you're not there and you need to work on everything else, then don't be a caretaker. Take care of yourself, okay? Because that's the most important thing. That's just how it is. So you can see the yamas and niyamas in action. You can see someone who is taking care of themselves or doing for others or being generous, you know. But you can talk to them because it's something that is easier to talk about is this idea of self-love. Are you giving yourself some self-love? Are you able to do that? You can start there. And then from there, you can ask them when was the last time they went on a walk? When was the last time you exercised? When's the last time you did some stretches? Okay. When was the last time you had a shower? That might be that might be another question, but try to stick with the movement and just the idea of self-love so you're not really picking on someone that's so personal, right? So then if they have been moving, they walk their doggy, they go to the grocery store and bring home groceries and unload groceries. For some, that is exercise. But adding some intentional movement and alignment stuff, stretches, that kind of thing can be very healing to someone on a healing journey. And then from there, you can say, are you breathing? Because anyone in pain, they may not be breathing. They may have adrenaline. Um, they might have a lot of hormones coursing, cortisol coursing through their body. And that actually can prevent people from breathing. You're trying to conserve your energy. You're trying to focus. So without breath, there will be stagnant energy and there will be pain. There'll be a lack of blood flow to whatever area of the body is getting the nurturing that your body is sending to heal it. So those are the questions to ask. Are you giving yourself good self-love? Are you able to, put some hand lotion on? Are you able to nurture your feet? Are you able to meditate? Kind of a long shot for someone who's in pain like this. That's the eighth limb of yoga. So it is sort of a circular pattern. We might say it's linear. We might say it's hierarchical, where we start with the yamas, the niyamas, asana practice, pranayama, and pratyahara, which is what we're talking about now. So if you can't get to pratyahara, you're not able to meditate, but it's just something that people talk about, right? Meditation. So these are some things I wanted to share as this has come up over and again with my clients. It's hard for me to help clients in that state of an elevated experience and a higher vibration if they're not able to do a withdrawal of the senses. And just what that is, I explained how you get to the point of doing it, but what that is where you are able to observe any pain in your body. You're able to observe the triggers that are happening and notice them. You can notice if you have some heartache around the loss of your independence or like a past self situation. I used to be so active. I used to be so vibrant or whatever. That's another pain. That's like you're in pain, right? So to elevate your vibration from that is the action of pulling inward, allowing the senses, the five senses, to be observable and to be able to withdraw from them to an elevated state where you can apply discernment. So if you are stuck in wallowing around pain, it's not possible for you to have an elevated idea about it. Like, oh, this too shall pass is one idea, right? To cope. So if you're always in pain, the adrenaline's going, cortisol, you've got all kinds of things happening to set yourself up for feeling it. But it is possible to rise above the pain and to observe it so you can make a decision on how to handle it. And that would probably mean not um, grumping around about it. Although that's applicable too. And one other thing about this is it's circular, right? Like we might be able to meditate one day, but then another day we might be really feeling that pain in our side or that foot pain that comes back, that knee injury that comes back time and again. We might feel it and it might be one of those days, right? So Pratyahara is circular. It can be linear during the day. It can actually be circular during the day too. We have good times, we have bad times. But I wanted to offer a reminder to you about this because it's incredibly helpful for anyone in a situation where you're supporting another person. That's the lesson today. Take care. Hope you're having a great day. Bye bye bye.